welcome to all of you who have tuned in. Thank you very much. During my career at the Wall Street Journal, I spent some 25 years, it was my privilege to spend 25 years covering efforts by academic researchers in the biopharmaceutical industry to develop new treatments against diseases across the field of medicine. And early in those years, the oncology landscape was pretty barren. Drug research, or at least clinical drug research, was largely about testing different formulas of conventional chemotherapy in very small subsets of patients with all too familiar results: a few extra weeks or months of life, and a few extra, often accompanied by a few extra weeks or months of suffering from the effects of the drugs. Frankly, not much to write home about. In the mid-2000s, though, that began to change. New knowledge about the genetic underpinnings of cancer led to drugs targeting mutations that drive tumor growth, and for some patients, melting the disease away. This was the rise of what we now call precision medicine. Advances in immunology led to other drugs that unleash the power of the immune system against tumors, and that has resulted in prolonged remissions for thousands of patients who were at death's door. But cancer is a wily foe, and as so far these advances have provided sustained benefits to only a relatively small minority of patients. But as you've already heard from our speakers today, these developments have infused oncology with a level of enthusiasm, energy, and hope that I think is unprecedented in the careers of many of the stakeholders in the field. A lot more work is ahead, but here we are talking about whether and how to talk about a cure. Is this important, relevant information for doctors and patients as they take on their treatment? Or is it taboo, like approaching a pitcher with a no-hitter in the 7th inning and wishing him good luck? These are all interesting issues of how to address this question. My mother was diagnosed with early stage breast cancer at age 65 in the early 1990s. She was treated with surgery and radiation. She died at 90 without the cancer ever coming back. So was she cured? I would say yes. She was never convinced. She approached each annual checkup with trepidation, certain that doctors would find the cancer had returned. And the radiation apparently scarred her lungs and left her with some respiratory issues that accompanied her for the rest of her life and may well have contributed to her death. So, you know, where does she fit into the whole cure debate? As a science journalist, I work hard to avoid the term cure, especially in discussing results of new treatments. I also sort of shun breakthrough and game changer. These terms kind of overhype, mislead, and are too often used before the real evidence is in. It seems to me that cancer-free, in remission, stable disease seem like more accurate ways to describe the progress we're making with treatments and to provide a status report on the disease rather than a verdict or a conclusion. And as Dave mentioned, another issue is access. Is a treatment curative if, because of cost, access, or other socioeconomic factors, many patients can't get to it? To what extent should broad access to a treatment define its status as a cure? All of that said, cure is obviously the ultimate hope for doctors and patients dealing with the disease. On its face, cure would seem to mean the cancer is gone, eradicated, not coming back. But cancer is complex, and so is treating it and living with it. As we shall see, doctors and patients alike see the word from different perspectives. So we have a terrific panel of experts here to take a deeper dive into the topic. So let's get started. Here's how this is going to work. We have two debates focused on different aspects of cure. These are not counterpoint debates in the traditional sense, but more discussions that reflect different vantage points. In the first, Dr. Spicer and Dr. Popat will talk about and explore how cure should be defined. And in the second, Dr. Cole and Dr. Franklin will discuss issues around how to hold discussions with patients and their families around the issue of cure. Following the debates, all of our speakers, including Dave and Christian, will gather in will convene for a panel discussion that will explore the issues further. And we do hope to be able to take questions from the audience. There's a Q&A function on the screen, and you could submit questions at any time during that. Before we get to our panels, we have a short video to bring in the most important vantage point of this discussion, and that is the views of cancer patients themselves. So can we roll that montage, please?